There it is. We are live.
We're live.
We are live.
Hello, everybody.
By the way, if I vanish suddenly, it's
Right?
because I don't know why last week or was it last week or the week before? My computer locked up on me. The Hangout keeps going, so if that happens, then I will zip right back in, and it's up to
All right.
you to entertain all these nice people.
I will do magic tricks. I'll do magic tricks and things. Okay, fantastic.
Do you know any magic tricks?
Yes, I do. I actually know.
Yeah.
See this one? Watch this. Watch very closely. You ready?
Yeah. What? Mind blown.
Thank you very much.
My claim to fame, my thing when I was in college and for a handful of years after that, I was a bartender, and
Okay.
yeah, my shtick was I knew card magic tricks.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
I've always been fascinated by those because like it's all about just redirecting how to do things like that, and then when you find out how they're done, you're like, oh, that was really easy. It's all about misdirection.
Misdirection. I dropped my headphones.
So, about you're a mushroom.
What?
So you're a wonderful. Oh, hold on, folks. He's coming back.
This is my box of magic. My box of magic tricks.
Just in case if things go up.
I got like scarves. Woo! Wait, where is it? Here we go. How do I do this? Okay, we'll do one magic trick while people are pouring in.
Okay, you got it.
All right. I have this scarf. All right, ready?
All right.
I stuff
Right.
it in my hand like this,
Right.
like
Got
that,
it. Right.
and poof! Ah, it's gone! Oh my God, I messed up. I dropped it. Rob's laughing at me. Ta-da! It's totally gone, and then it's back. Ha
Excellent.
My twin brother is watching from over there, and he is legitimately good at magic. He's better than I am at it. So I'm glad he got to witness that.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Now
cool. Looks like people are joining us, so we're going to get started.
Okay, fantastic.
All right.
Oh, okay,
Hey,
how's the weather like? How's the weather like out there?
Oh, the weather's wonderful. I can barely see it, but the sun is out. Like,
Okay, good.
I don't even want to ask because you're down in Southern California, and I know what it's like down there.
It's sunny and beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Prop Live. This is the show that we do every week where we take your prop and costume making questions and answer them to the best of our abilities. Today we have a wonderful guest with us, and it didn't come to me until today. Someone pointed it out that today is the Bill and Ted show. Because we have Evil Ted Smith. Hi, Ted.
There you go. Hi, how you guys doing? Thank you.
Ted, for those of you who for some reason don't know, Ted is a prop and costume maker down in Southern California. He's made lots of really cool things for some pretty amazing movies like The Fifth Element, which I think is really cool. I've told lots of people about your Barbie doll legs in the Fifth Element car story, which is pretty fun. What other really fun projects have you worked on lately, Ted?
Oh my goodness, we had a blast. Well, my last one I did, which most people know, was doing the Star Trek Into Darkness, which was exciting. That was super cool. Big movies come and go. There's so many. We did Walking Dead was great. Did some of that. The most recent. Oh my God, I'm trying to think of something recent we just did. That would be exciting. They're doing well. Oh goodness, I'm trying to think of it. I'm sorry, I'm just choking because I'm trying to remember some of the exciting, more like sci-fi things.
I put you on the spot.
No worries. I'm just like trying to think. What's the last cool thing I've done? Most of it just kind of focusing on my my YouTube channel and things like that. Just getting things ready for that. But movie-wise, I'm trying to think of there was something big that we just got to doing. I'm so sorry. Let me get back to you on that one. I'm so sorry.
I got some things queued up here. This is some of the stuff that Ted did for Star Trek, including this gigantic, awesome freaking Klingon rifle thing.
That's right, and that's actually a very funny story. That was they came to us and they gave us designs, the drawing, and the prop master asked for it to be made out of aluminum, and we were just like, oh, there's the batleth. The batleths, once again, they had fight scenes with them, and they were made out of aluminum, and because these guys could like put each other's eyes out with those things, so very quickly they needed stunt ones, and so the aluminum was so big and so thin you really couldn't mold it and cast it out of rubber because it'd be too insane. So they ended up going foam. They said, Ted, can you foam fabricate them? So I said yes. So I foam fabricated the Klingon batlifts, which in the movie they fight with quite a bit.
Cool.
It's very cool scene.
Yeah, really, really awesome stuff. And of course, you were going to make them out of foam because you are like the foam guy.
Yeah, they were. Foam fabricating was kind of a new thing to them at the prop house. When they brought me in, we were working on G.I. Joe, the movie, and there's a scene where the Baroness kicks a propane tank down the street and shoots it with a gun and explodes. And so they needed one like the next day, and everybody was freaking out. Like, oh my God, my buddy Chuck, who worked with me as well on the show, and he was the kind of the mold supervisor. He told us, hey, let's get Ted the foam fabricated. And they're like, what? And they came to me and said, Ted, could you make a propane tank out of foam? I'm like, could I? So I had like 24 hours, and I made 2 propane tanks, and they showed up on set, and they loved them. And the prop master called back and said, these things are amazing. They were so great. And the scene from the film got cut. But,
of course. Isn't that the story, of course?
The story of Hollywood.
Super cool. Well, folks should definitely go check out eviltedsmith.com. Go check it out over here to see everything that Ted's up to.
Well, and also, I apologize. The site is actually under construction. I'm going to have patterns for sale and post pictures and whatnot. But right now, it's still in construction. But I ask you guys to go ahead and register and get on my mailing list. Get on the mailing list, and therefore I can email you guys the updates.
That's awesome. Ted's got, along with a bunch of really amazing videos on the YouTube channel. When you have more and more stuff coming out, folks are definitely going to want to know about it, especially when it comes to, like you said, patterns and foam fabrication type stuff. So definitely get on that mailing list today.
And also, if you guys go to my Evil Ted page on Facebook, I am selling these wonderful T-shirts.
Yay!
Right there. This says the Evil Ted channel.
Very, very nice. You've kind of taken YouTube by storm, getting a whole bunch of really cool videos on. Specifically on making armor out of foam, which I know I've enjoyed and I've learned a lot from. So folks could also go check out your YouTube channel and subscribe.
Subscribe, please. Please subscribe. It helps me.
So you were just at something called Monsterpalooza, right?
Yes, that was spectacular. Monsterpalooza is something they did out here in California. There's a booming makeup community out here, and this guy Elliot and his wife, they set up this thing called Monsterpalooza, and what's amazing about it was it's just for people to show their work, to show their work, and also vendors to sell makeup related stuff, and it just got big every year, and it kept growing every year, and now it's literally, no pun in the word, but it's monstrous. It's become so huge, and I would go, and the joke is, I started off in Creature Effects. I used to work in makeup shops and monster shops before I went from miniatures, and went from miniatures to Creature Effects. Went from creatures to costuming and went back to props. But in the process of doing all that, I made these great friends. But since I don't work in the makeup field anymore, I don't very rarely see them. So when I go to Monsterpalooza, I always run into them. So the going joke is we call it Monster Reunion. But it was a great show. It was my first time seeing the. It was my first time displaying stuff. It was a blast. But it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. And if you guys go in the I have pictures of it on my Facebook, and I also have a YouTube little montage of it. But it's a great con to go to. It's a lot of fun.
Super cool. And down in LA, right?
Right. It's in Burbank. It's at the Burbank Hilton. It's Burbank Convention Center is where it's at. Actually.
Cool.
They hold it every year.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's say we grab some questions from our viewers here. And here we go. All right, the first question is from Fancy Lad Props, and this is the guy that pointed out. He said, "Hey, Bill and Ted." Ha! I was like, that's right. He is building something for a client in Australia. It's a gun, and he's worried about sending replica, things that look like real guns to other countries. I don't know if you've had any experience shipping weapon-looking things to other countries, Ted. But if you have, do you know if there might be any problems with that?
It's funny because there was I had a friend of mine in New Zealand, and I wanted to ship something to him, and that was one thing that he informed me of, is that it was a prop gun from a movie we did together, and it'll go through X-ray. He was kind of like, yeah, they're really kind of New Zealand. He said Australia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's one of those things where back in the old days where if it was actually gun parts, I think you just had to label certain things, but if it's a piece of plastic that's shaped like a gun, I don't know how that's really much of a threat, but I think if it goes through an X-ray and they can see that it looks like a gun,
Yeah.
that means they have to open it or look at it. I'm sorry, it's a tricky question. I don't know the shipping thing with guns.
It is. I can say that I have shipped resin castings of space guns, things that look like guns but they're kind of sci-fi. I've shipped those to Australia before, and as far as I know, they got there no problem.
Yeah, I think as long as they're not like just a solid chunks of plastic, especially if you said he was doing a rifle.
He just says a prop gun.
A prop gun, yeah.
Yep.
I don't really think it should be an issue if it's solid plastic. I never have though.
I'll list it on the customs forum, or I'll list it as like plastic replica, something like that.
That's good.
I will avoid putting the word gun on the customs form. There you go. All right. Thank you, Fancy Lad Props, for your question. Here we go. Here's another one. This one's from Fearless Facade. It says, any pro tips on gaining loyal likes for your Facebook props page? How about you, Ted? You, by the way, your YouTube channel has rocketed past mine in subscribers. How you doing it, man? What's your secret?
It's funny. I won't lie. I'm blown away and excited by it. The trick is when I first post to people. That's the key. It's to pay people off. I guess it's just the sharing and stuff. I guess my mission with these channel stuff is just try to make them simple and try to be very very explanatory. Like when I explain things, make it really simple to where people can follow it. The numbers taking off. It's exciting. As for Facebook, what I would do if he wants numbers and other like other people are like into the same thing he's into, is like their page too. Don't just expect everybody to come and like your stuff. You also have to go and like theirs. If you find a page you like, click on it and like it. And also, if you like their work, let them know that, and also send them like a picture or a link of some of your work. Like it's one of those things where it's like a back and forth kind of a thing. You start building up fan base and stuff.
That's what I usually tell people. The great thing about the internet is it is so much of a two-way street. And if post good content and post it consistently, which is definitely something that you've done very well. But also, if you want help from someone, then be helpful. If you want likes from people, then like their stuff. If you want advice, give advice. Like whatever it is, the thing that you want, you need to do that yourself. You need to be the person who is initiating the contact. So, like you were saying, if you see someone whose work you appreciate, start a conversation with them, and don't hit them in the face with like, "Come like my page," blah 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 blah. If you provide good content and if you start a good conversation going, people will want to come check out your content. And be prepared for a long burn too. It'll take a while.
That's long burn, and I like that phrase a lot. And Bill says that, and I like it too. Is long burn. Is that when you do something, you just got to put in the time. It just takes time.
Yep. It doesn't help having, in Ted's case, 20 some odd years of Hollywood practical effects under your belt. That helps too.
It does help. Having a little bit of a work experience from that helps.
All right, here's one from Austin. This one is pretty good for Ted. Any tips for preparing foam for painting? How about top two or three tips? If you're getting ready to paint, Ted, what would you say?
That is a good question. No matter what you're using, I guess it's like Bill likes to use the primer. It's a particular brand of primer you like to use. Bill, does you spray? I
like the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Gray primer.
There's another great stuff I like. It's called Bulldog. And Bulldog is an adhesion promoter, and it was created by the automotive industry. And what Bulldog does it's made for all the most cars. It goes from metal to those big bumpers in cars, plastic bumpers, plastic trim and whatnot. When you paint on this stuff, it's flexible. This stuff, Bulldog, allows it gives an adhesion to plastic. So we started using it at work, and I fell in love with it. So anything I'm painting with, it's flexible or plastic. You just put a thin layer of Bulldog on it, and I'm going to start incorporating that in some of my foam suits too. Especially when the reason I use that too is also it's good for just putting it on metallic. But if you're using paints like Krylon and Fusion, they all stick pretty darn well, even without so much prep.
Oh yeah, I'll put Krylon Fusion right on foam, and it works great.
Yeah, exactly.
This
it all
stuff,
depends on what they want to do.
This guy, my helmet here, I sealed it with a whole bunch of Plasti-Dip, but the gray down here is a metallic Fusion, Krylon Fusion, and it's wonderful. There you go, Austin. There's something you can do to prepare, something to try out. I'm gonna try that too. I have a link. We'll have a link to the Bulldog stuff in the show description. Folks can go play with it.
Fusion onto foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's grab another question. This one is from. There we go. From Mike. He's making some Destiny armor out of EVA foam. Good. Right. I like where this is going. He says, "Have you ever tried to cast them into resin pieces?" He wants to seal it with Plasti-Dip and then cast it. I've actually got some people ask me this before, where they want to build something out of foam and then make a mold out of it to cast it.
I mean, I guess you could like make a silicone mold or a stone mold, or
yeah, I would say probably silicone.
Yeah, the trick is if you're making foam armor, you have a foam shoulder piece, and you're gonna make a mold of it. You've got to reinforce it to where it won't move on you. Like most pieces I have, silicone gets heavy. If you start putting silicone on something, or you're gonna have to like clay it up or put something behind it. You definitely have to reinforce it.
I would prefer, I tend to prefer to make, if I'm going to mold something, I'll make it out of more rigid materials or a clay, because then you can sand it down to a mirror finish if you want. You can do a lot of finishing work on it before you mold it, and that you can't do that kind of finishing work on foam because it's so flexible.
Yeah, and the other reason too, that's the whole reason I got into foam, because I used to do that stuff all the time, sculpt, make silicone molds, and after a while it's like, I just want to make it and be done with it. So that's the whole reason why I'm doing foams, is to skip the whole mold making process.
Right. So there you go, Mike. Just don't use silicone on it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go from another regular from Fuzro Dave. He says that he has a friend who wants him to make a flanged mace for LARPing. Any suggestions on materials? He's thinking EVA with a wooden dowel for strength, but he's concerned it might be too firm for combat. Any experience with that? Ted, have you ever built anything where you gotta hit someone with it, and you don't want to hurt them and you don't want it to break?
Right. Matter of fact, we do. Yes, a lot of shows, movies we do. We have to do baseball bats, Boardwalk Empire. I had to make lunch boxes, like 20 lunch boxes. Somebody that gets smashed in the head with them. I had to foam fabricate all of them. And now he's talking about a weapon. So weapons, it's a double-edged sword. You have two things happening there. You have a weapon that you need to be durable and stay upright. Oh, is that it right there? Is that it?
This is one that Will just finished up here, and it's actually a flanged mace, just like in the question.
Is it? Bang! That is exactly it. My trick is, which Bill and I were talking about this earlier. You're going to foam fabricate that. What we recommend once you do that is coat it in latex, rubber latex.
That's right.
The rod, the handle itself, I would do like a fiberglass rod. Like get a heavy-duty fiberglass rod, because wood's going to crack, split, break. If you're going to be lugging people with it, they'll eventually break. I always found that fiberglass rods you can get one of those and just wrap foam around it, make your mace, and dip latex in it.
There you go.
Or spray it, coat it, brush it, but put a coat on, let it get semi-dry, put another coat on, semi-dry, build up the layers, and they'll be really dense. So they'll take a beating.
Yep, definitely. I had the chance to play with some LARP weapons that some friends of mine made over at Artifix, and those things are bulletproof. You could just smack them around; they're not going to get beat up, and they have like 8 layers of latex on them. This one that I have here, if you go to wmarmory.com and check out Will's build, I think he used a wooden dowel for his. But like you're saying,
you can. It's like, for costumes and cosplay, wood dowel is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be LARPing with them and smashing people with them, you're gonna want something that's not, because most cosplay, I'm not at a con smash somebody in the head with it. So.
Not usually. It's generally frowned upon.
Yes, it is.
All right, there you go, Fuzro Dave. Do that. Go check out Will's build there, but also consider using a fiberglass rod. All right, here we go. Another question. This one is from Nathan. I think this one is specifically for you, Ted. He says, did you leave behind that box of Barge Cement that was under your desk? Mike is jealous that I have a whole can to myself.
Yes, I did. That's a crazy question. It's a prop shop I work at. Nathan is one of the guys that worked with us there, and I was cleaning my desk out because we finished on a show and I was leaving, and we bought Barge with company money, so I wasn't going to steal their barge. I'm like, that's their barge, not mine. So I left it for them.
That was rather nice of you.
Yeah.
This next question, this one's from CZ Cosplay. He's got a sword with a moving part on it, and I actually had an example that I wanted to look up real quick. It's got jaws on the sword, like it's like a wolf with the blade coming out of the mouth, and he wants both the jaws to open and close at the same time. He's curious about that kind of mechanism. And I will show you once I figure out how to click all these things. All right. So, Ted, I presume... What was that?
I have seen this thing around everywhere. This Volpin Props made a really nice one.
Yeah, that's what I've got here. I'm at volpinprops.com. His Fishbones that he made, I'm going to zip down here. The jaws on this thing, here we go. The jaws on this open and close together. It's supposedly when you fire a rocket out of this thing, the top, even though it doesn't make sense, the top jaw opens and the bottom jaw opens to expose a rocket below. So if folks want to go check out the build, again, we'll have a link to this in the description. You can kind of see the mechanism.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So just go look at this and kind of figure out how you might make something similar like that for your sword. There's another view, and he even did a video of it opening and closing. But those kind of mechanical things on a prop are a little bit complicated, and it requires a lot of trial and error. That's what I would say.
That's why in the industry we have people, the shops we work at, we have guys strictly dedicated to that. Like, we're the prop makers and we're the designers, and we basically just turn to the mechanic guy and go, how are we going to make this happen? So tell us, because we don't know.
All right, here we go. This question's from Tim, and he's curious about the horns on the helmet behind you, Ted. How did you make those?
Oh, this particular guy right here. This is where these horns. I wanted to make bull horns for this guy, and I could not find bull horns, so I just took some styrofoam and carved out the shape that I liked, and then used my aluminum foil and duct tape technique. On these horns, you can actually use fine animal horns or whatever horn and just cover them with foil, duct tape, and do your seam lines. As a matter of fact, thank you for asking, because I'm frantically working on that. I have patterns for these that I'm tracing, and I'm going to make them as something you can download, and you'll be able to get on my website. And I'm working on getting those things hopefully up soon. But yeah, these are just they're just horns that you just make patterns off of. And have you guys seen my how to make a helmet video? I have this whole technique where you just basically cover it with aluminum foil, cover the duct tape, and draw your lines on, and cut them off. That's pretty much what I did for these guys.
There you go.
I hope I did the best to explain it as possible.
That's good. Well, what you're saying, though, is that you will have both patterns and probably a video to show something like that in the near future.
In the near future, yes, I will.
All right. Thank you, Tim, for your question. This next one here is from Brian, and he says, do you have any problems with paint or primers or sealers not setting up because of humidity and temperature? I'm betting that's not a problem down in LA.
No, it is not. But I know what he speaks of. There's also particular brands of paint that are kind of gummy. It's all about temperature, moisture, and weather. Yeah, it is an ordeal. But the only time I've had something like that is when I was working on a show and it was cold and damp and rainy, and I had to coat things with over latex, and I had to turn my bathroom into an oven. I just put heaters in my bathroom and put pieces in there.
Fortunately, it's up. Even though people think it rains in Seattle all the time, it's actually not that humid up here, so we don't have to worry about that. But I do have a paint room, and if I'm going to do a lot of painting, I'll put a heater in there and I'll warm it up. If I can get that room to like 80 degrees, paint dries really, really nicely in there.
Right. Also, too, a helpful tip too, I've ran into a lot, is that plastic dip. When I work, I like to heat up. I like to heat my plastic dip up. In the warm weather, like if I can put it outside, let the sun hit it for a little bit, helps. Or take a hair dryer to it, because cold, like just all your paints, it just needs nice to have a little bit warmer.
Yeah. Actually, we mentioned Harrison earlier. He wrote a book about painting, and he said with spray paint, if he's going to be doing like a lot of it, he'll take a can of spray paint and submerge the bottom of it in some warm water just to warm the can up a little bit. You do want not a lot. Like there is a bursting temperature for those cans. You want to not boil it.
Right. Exactly.
But if you get if your paint is stored in a cold room, that can affect it, even if you're spraying it in the warmer room. So just some things to keep in mind. Cool. Thank you. That question was from Brian. Let's see here. The next one is from Lon. Here we go. Lon wants to know, I picked up a wood burning kit that Ted recommended in a recent video, and it's been great for making lines and vents and stuff. He's using them to make embossed lettering now. Are there any tricks for transferring a printout to foam for tracing? So what if you had like a... Or go ahead.
Basically putting things onto something on paper. You know, I'm trying to think. I've done something very similar to that. What I usually do is I lay the paper thing on it and take a fine tip Sharpie, just poke through the paper to make my registration marks. Like if you're just doing straight lines, like it goes here and stops here, ends here, you kind of like have your paper pattern in front of you and kind of make registration marks on your pattern. And you take it off and you're able to connect the dots, kind of thing. I've done that.
I've done that too. For the Draugr costume I did, there was a bunch of scroll work on there that was raised up. So I laid it down. I used an awl, and I just poked and traced the line that way. And then those holes got covered by a line of foam. And I guess you can do the opposite with your wood burning thing and just carve it out that way.
Right. So especially if you're doing a recess, you just lay your paper pattern. So any dot you make, it's going to be okay because you're going to go back and burn over it. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, Lon. Problem solved.
Boom, done. Next.
Next question. Let's do this. This one's from Wade. He says, what do you think about modding an existing design, like adding horns to a Halo helmet or a skull on a shoulder plate? I think that's a cool idea. I don't know.
Exactly. Why not?
Go for it, man.
Exactly. And that's the one thing about cosplay, which I'm trying to embrace, and I think my friend Holly Conrad even made a comment about that one time, that she likes making stuff of her own stuff. And I said, and you should, don't. She got into the Commander Shepard thing, and she loved doing it. It was fun, but then she's like, I want to do other things. I'm like, well, you can. Nobody's going to stop you. And that's the thing with foam fabricating. A lot of stuff a lot of stuff I'm building, and people ask me where these designs from. They're from my noggin. There's the Vampire Hunter D, which I was telling Bill earlier. That's a particular animated character I really like, and that's one of the particular projects I want to tackle. So I want to do him as a costume, and that'd be something that I'll look to the animation for design. But when you're building something, you see something as you're making, hey, that'd be cool if I do this. Then do it. Want to put a horn on it? On Halo costume? Yes. Skull? Put it on there. It's just going to make you up that much better and different to me. So
yeah. Cool. I'll tell you what, that's something I struggle with. Most of the costumes I do, I have my Destiny helmet. Actually, most of the costumes...
Which once again, is amazing. Love it.
Thank you.
Love that helmet.
And no, I can't see out of this, everyone. is I replicate stuff, but that's all stuff straight from the game, and I tried to make it look exactly like it was from the game.
Right.
Something I want to do more of, and the costumes that really impress me are like really clever mashups or modifications of a character, so that when you see it, you know it's not like directly out of the source material, but you still recognize it. You understand
Exactly.
what it's from. But
Right.
they've taken some really cool creative twist on the character. That's the stuff that really impresses me. So there you go, Wade. Go nuts, man.
Yeah, dude, totally do it. I agree. I support you.
All right, this question is from Matthew. He says he's looking to make a large-ish costume. It's bulky, but with lots of room inside. He's comparing L200 to EVA. And asking about good suppliers. Actually, this is something I wanted to talk to you about, Ted, because I recently tried L200 because you can get it on Amazon now. So
Yes,
I grabbed it. But you've been doing a lot of stuff with the floor mats lately, right?
Yes, I have. I did actually. I got it. I discovered it through a fellow. Holly Conrad was the one who got me turned on to it because I was doing L200 all that time. I'd always buy big sheets and all that stuff. And so she's like, "Oh, what about this stuff on the floor?" I'm like, "Is that what you guys use?" And yeah, I fell in love with it. So.
Oh, it's great. My comparison, because I've been able to use both of them now. L200 is less rigid. It's a little bit more bendy, I guess. It doesn't have a texture on it.
Grade.
Yeah, it's really great because if you need something that's in a large sheet that doesn't have a texture on it, it's really handy. But for some stuff, I kind of rather have that more rigid floor mat material. It's a little bit more. So I'll keep both of them on hand, and use them when they're available or when it makes sense to use them.
As a matter of fact, what happened with me, I did the video on how to make female armor, and I had a sheet of L200 in my house at the time I was doing it, so I said I'll just use it in the video. And I didn't realize I opened a floodgate because then I got all these emails like, oh my gosh, like, where can I get that foam? Where can I get that foam? And I kept trying to explain to them, like, you could still do the same thing with the EVA floor mat foam because L200, it has it's smooth on both sides, but to get the consistency of the floor mat foam, you have to have a higher grade, like there's L300, L400, the higher ratio, the number, the density of the foam.
Yeah.
So.
And by the way, drastically more expensive too.
Drastically more expensive, and also when you're buying L300, it's dense, but still not as dense as EVA floor mat foam.
Yep.
So I just stick with EVA floor mat foam for most pieces. The only reason L200 comes in handy is if you're going to do a giant project and you need big sheets.
Yeah, if you need a long strip, you don't want to have a seam in it, or if you need to do a lot of stuff without a texture on either side, so you don't have to go try and removing the texture.
Exactly, that's a good point.
So Matt, you might just stick with the floor mats for if you're doing a lot of bulk stuff for your big costume, and also the floor mat. If any of those pieces have to support weight, you're gonna like having a more rigid material. All right, thank you. I've been playing with lots of different since I went to the UK. My buddies use a foam called Plastizote. Zote Foams is a company that does it. I got a bunch of it. It's kind of neat. It's really, really nice stuff. I'll have to send you some.
In England, what do those guys use for glue in England? I get people asking me all the time.
That's a good question. They don't have Barge out there. Apparently, it's toxic. Blah. And they use something called Alpha Thixofix. I can actually look this up right now. Alpha.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a pen. So they call it Alpha Thixofix. What's it?
Oh, Fix. Put it right up here on my screen so that everyone can check it out.
All right.
There's the web browser. The brand is called Alpha, and Thixofix is the name of the glue. And
it's like a contact adhesive as well?
Yeah, it is. It works just like Barge. I believe that one of the major differences is it does not have toluene in it.
Yes.
And it's also a lot more of like a paste than a liquid. But it basically works the same.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's grab another question here. This one is from Noah. He says, "Party on, dudes." Another Bill and Ted reference. Thank you. He's making a helmet for his son out of craft foam, and he's going to make it in 2 pieces so that he can actually put it on. And the idea is how to attach the 2 pieces together. He's thinking about Velcro, but was worried that it might be like noticeable, like you might see it.
Okay, like a 2-piece helmet thing, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, for example, my brother built an Iron Man helmet, and it's very snug, and the back part that goes across the back of the head is a separate piece that comes off.
Right.
And he built his with elastic in there, so it can stretch apart when he's pulling it off.
Oh, a matter of fact, the Power Ranger helmets were like that too. I got the whole. I actually was on a show. I get the whole one. Those things are beautiful in person. They're actually ones from the TV show, and they taper because you can't. Those helmets could not pop over your head. You have to open them up and get in them. So it tapered on both sides. So what they did was they had it hooked. So what I would recommend for him to do is glue the top, put a strap on the top of the head, and just put 2 elastic straps on the side, so they could just prop it open, put it over the head, and then they'll just close back.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling too.
Yeah, because therefore you don't have to go through the whole VI, because you have Velcro, then it's coming off, and you're like, oh, where's the front? I have the front here, but I don't have the back half. So if you keep it as one piece, have them join the top, and just have it pop open and drop on the head.
And then the elastic is on the inside, and you won't see it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll disappear when it closes.
I'm glad you mentioned the Power Rangers helmet. Devin had a question, and he's curious if you could match the quality of one of those really nice sculpted helmets with one made out of foam. I think that would be a bit of an uphill battle, but you could get pretty close.
You can get close, but the trick is the biggest thing with the Power Ranger helmets was their face shields are like 50% visor. They're just visors, like they're big black tinted dome. And that was the thing that blew me away about the Japanese ones I saw in person was the shape of the face would match the vacuum form seamlessly. They were just the craftsmanship that one of those helmets are beautiful. You can get the look. I mean, I've seen people who foam fabricate them. They do a fantastic job on them. But you get one close, but you won't ever get it perfect.
Yeah, I would say you could get it to look pretty good from like 10 feet away.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll look decent.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the disconnect when people want to replicate something from a show is they don't realize that the hero piece from a TV show or a movie costs thousands of dollars to make because
ridiculous. Yes.
Hundreds of hours of time. Really advanced materials, vacuum forming, molding, casting, all that stuff.
And then they have more than one when they're on set, so when it breaks, they just throw another one in frame.
Yeah, and they make like 5 of them.
Exactly.
So you can get close, Devin, but probably not all the way there. I'd still say it's worth trying, though.
Yes, it would. Exactly.
All right, here we go. Another question from Oriole. This one says, is there a sealing technique to paint EVA foam with a super smooth finish? This is, again, it's pretty similar question. He wants something as close to like a car finish as possible. Now, you can paint and wet sand foam and get a pretty smooth finish on it.
Yes, you can. That is true.
My shopmate Will does a pretty good job of that. He likes to wet sand his foam props.
He goes far more than ever I would do.
Yeah.
he's far more into. I'm like, I'm done with this helmet. He's like, I'm gonna wet sand this thing. I'm like, all right, knock yourself out. So.
Yeah, you can. I would use lots of layers of paint. I know that Will likes his Krylon Fusion a lot, and then wet sand it down. You can get it pretty smooth, and then hit it with like a gloss finish.
Exactly, and that's the same thing I would suggest as well too.
Yep. Also, my pal Eric over at Coregeek, he's a nut about sanding. Like, I can take sanding to about 400 grit before I'm like, it's done. Eric loves using like Epsilon, which is an epoxy resin, and he'll put many layers on his foam piece.
Oh yeah, did he make that thing for his daughter, that crazy armor thing?
Yeah, and it's really nice, really good finish on it. But he did a ton of sanding.
Yeah, so serious man hours.
Bear in mind, you can get a really good finish, but it's going to be lots and lots and lots of sanding.
When I saw the picture of that he had on Facebook, I was like, oh my god. Like, it was beautiful, but even I was like, oh my God, look how clean that is. It's like that's super. It was nice to start off with, but he just kept going and going.
Let me see if I can come up with a picture. It's great. Kurt's an awesome guy. I've had him on the show before.
And if you see his work, and the first time I saw it, I kept thinking, did he sculpt and mold that? The more I looked at him, I'm like, oh no, he foamed it. I could see him. He's making it. He was very patient. He was very nice enough to send me pictures and progress pictures. I was like, what's on there? And he goes, oh, it's epoxy. He's Epsilon to seal it. Yeah, and so to get that skin, to get that finish, you just put epoxy. And the epoxy is cool because when you brush it on, you let it settles.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a nice
self-leveling, yeah.
It's self-leveling, so he did a really fantastic job on his helmet. I'm sorry, on his armor.
The thing you do want to consider with that is when you put that much epoxy on something, it will no longer be flexible. It'll be completely.
Not.
Yeah.
That's something to tell about. I get a lot of requests of people asking me like, "Hey, can we put resin and hard resins on top of foam?" I said, yes and no. You could put it on there, but you can't use standard resin because it'll attack the foam and delaminate your glue. And the Epsilon's the great stuff because that's perfect for this kind of thing. But you have to be careful because once you put something on, you got to understand it's not going to be flexible. It's going to be that's the armor. There it is, and there's some shots of the under construction or whatever it was, but it's like, yeah, it's insane. And you got, of course, give a really great paint job and colorful paint job on it as well. But,
yeah. Oh yeah. He's a nut when it comes to his finishing work. Here's a good photo. But yeah, you can see how that's all foam and it's been coated a lot. And you can see how you could sand that really well. And he didn't put a high gloss finish on it, but you totally could.
Yeah, you could. You see the shine. You can see the reflection. Yes.
Yep. All right. Cool. So good luck making your car-looking thing out of foam. All right. Next question. This one comes from, let's see here, from Lee. He's trying to make something like a baseball bat that's tapered, so it's thinner at the base and wider at the top. He's got like a PVC pipe, like we were saying before, a pipe surrounded by foam to make something like a bat. He's curious how he might taper it without a bandsaw. Which is challenging because that's what I would use as my bandsaw.
Yes. I did something for, I was doing something for Disney. We went to get the prop house. We had crazy things. I had to make a caveman club, and I had a day to do it in. So I just cut pieces of foam and stacked it. And I ended up doing a angle die grinder. I had like an air tool grinder. But
basically, that's like a Dremel on steroids, basically.
Right. Yeah, it's got a big metal, like a big ceramic, like a big like rough wheel, and you go. And the thing is, and if you don't have a band, see, because if you don't have a bandsaw, you definitely don't have an angle die grinder. So that's pretty much a given. So wow, that's tricky. I guess the only thing you'd probably do. Is you just have to get a Bill and I would recommend you get your knife and a sharpener. Matter of fact, what I would do is get your knife, get your sharpener and your knife and some WD-40 and start cutting and whittling like a piece of wood.
Yep.
That's
about you'll have to sharpen it frequently, yeah.
Yeah, because as Bill and I both say, foam will dull the crap out of your knife so fast, like in seconds. You get a super sharp, really 2 or 3 cuts, it snags. So sharpen up and start whittling like a piece of wood. That's all I can recommend.
There you go. All right. Thank you for your question, Lee. This one here is from Chuck. He says, what kind of clay would you use when you're making a mold? Non-sulfuric.
Right. Number one. In industry, we call it white clay. There's wet clay, which has glycerin and stuff in it and whatnot for sculpting, but white clay, just basic white water-based clay, that's what to use.
It's really cheap. Yeah, you can get a lot of it, and then you just throw it away when you're done.
Right. It's super cheap. You butt it, clay your mold up, and then once you're done with it, he's right. That's white clay. It's just water-based white clay.
There you go. Done. Easy. I like those questions. Here we go. This one's from my buddy Kevin. He's got some Sintra, a.k.a. PVC plastic that he wants to glue to EVA foam. And he's curious what he would use to do that.
Super glue.
Super glue sounds pretty good. There's also this website here. I don't know if are you familiar with the website thistothat.com, Ted?
No, I am not.
So
Is
this
it?
this is one of my favorite websites. If you want to glue two things together, you say attach plastic to they say styrofoam is the only foam option. That's the only problem is they don't have a lot of options. So for that they say epoxy or hot glue.
Right.
This website's awesome though. You should check it out, Ted.
It sounds hysterical. What I recommend, Barge Cement is definitely a contact adhesive, and Barge Cement was made for cobblers, like leather workers and shoemakers. It's basically applying two flat surfaces together. If your cinch is going directly to the foam, it has really good contact with it. I would just rough up the back of your cinch with sandpaper, put a thin layer of Barge on it, and a thin layer of Barge in your foam. But I would probably double up on the coats because foam has a tendency to soak up the glue. So I'd probably do 2 or 3 coats of that, and then stick your cincher on it, and it should grab.
There you go. I think that super glue, or even if it's going to be on like the back of your armor, hot glue, where you can just cover it in hot glue, which is what I tend to do.
Right, because hot glue it gets hot and it melts into the foam a little bit too, which helps bite. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. There you go, Kevin. A handful of things for you to try. Just try it out on some scraps beforehand.
Exactly.
Let's see. Here we go. Oh, this is a good one. This one's from Sam. Wants to know, hey, what clear coats do you like to use on your foam costumes? Specifically, something that's supposed to look metallic. I know Ted's got something he likes for this.
Yes, I do. I like using Future Floor Wax, made by Pledge, and amazingly enough, some places it's kind of hard to find. And so if you can't find it, you can always go to online. You can find it online.
Definitely.
That's that one. And there's a company, Sims. And the trick with floor wax, it's water thin. So I just want to give you guys a heads up that it's super thin. So when it comes out of your airbrush, you got to be careful not to go too heavy because it will drip. The trick is to put on thin coats, let it dry a little bit, and keep dusting. Like just dust. And the floor wax will build on top of itself. And the cool part about it, it'll stay clear and shiny and yet flexible. So
ooh, that's good.
The foam armor, it's one of my faves.
I do know, once again, my friends over at Artifix in the UK, they like to use a varnish to finish all of theirs, their foam stuff. I've never tried that before, but I think I might get some and give it a go. I'm also going to get some.
Varnish?
I don't know specifically what kind it is. I have to go ask them, but. I want to try that, and I want to try this Future Floor Wax stuff. For my helmet, I just used like a matte spray paint on this, and it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Thank you, Sam, for your question.
Yeah, thank you.
We got about 10 minutes here, guys. We'll get through what questions we can. There are lots and lots of really good questions, so thank you, everyone, for submitting those.
Yes, thank you.
This one, I think, is specific to me. Courtney wants to know, how do you keep your cat out of your workspace? Do you have pet issues where you work, Ted, or are you pet-free?
I used to. I had a cat, and but she was one of the things, but she always stayed a 5-foot radius. She never got in my space. She just wanted to make sure that it was always in the same room.
That's good.
As soon as the compressor was on, boom, she was gone. Like,
that's a good. Maybe always have your vacuum around, and if the cat's getting too close, you just turn that thing on. The cat will vanish. My shop is in the basement, and you have to go outside to get down here. And my cats don't go outside, so problem solved. They don't come down here. But their fur still makes it down here sometimes, which is a pain. I'm sure that somewhere on this helmet, if I look carefully, I'll find cat hair. Yep, sure enough, there you go. There's a piece of cat hair right there. Just kind of live with it sometimes. Let's see this next one. Oh, that was there. This one was kind of interesting. Patricia wants to know about getting a custom fiberglass dress form that would fit herself. She says that she has a duct tape dummy, but would like a fiberglass one. I'm wondering if that's a service that someone provides somewhere, or if you would just have to make it yourself.
What I recommend, though, is eBay. Check into eBay, because I got mannequin forms, And unfortunately, I live in Los Angeles, where if you get on eBay, there's constantly people having stores or stores. Like mannequin forms, depending on your size, they make mannequins from just generally just about every size. It's a generic body shape, and I think she's probably just looking for like a torso, because I have a torso. I have a couple of torsos I've gotten from mannequin stores. They're generally, I got one from petite to medium, and I use that for basic foam fabricating just for people. But I look at somebody and go, okay, she's falls in this range of this size of this mannequin. I can use this mannequin instead. I think she'd be better off to find a mannequin that's close to her features and actually having one made for her body.
Yeah.
This gets very expensive.
And you can get dress forms that have adjustable sizes too, within different ranges.
Yes, that's true. And she can definitely get, but she has a duct tape. She said she made one as well too.
Right. I would say I built a plaster bandage torso of myself that's nice and rigid, similar to fiberglass. It's not as durable as fiberglass, but I've had that for a couple of years now, and it's worked out really well for me. So that's another option.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. Plaster bandages.
Let's see here. Thank you, Patricia, for your question. This next one is from Mike. He wants to know about my laser cutter. He's curious if I found adding ventilation difficult to set up. He's getting a laser soon, and he's worried about that. Let's see. Let me see here. And he's considering paying for the upgrade for ventilation. So when you buy a laser cutter, like I got mine from Full Spectrum Laser, they have an option to just buy the ventilation system, which is just a fan. There's this big honking fan that just moves a lot of air. I had to purchase the tubing separately, but you can just get that. It's fairly cheap. Just it's like 4-inch ventilation tubing. On Amazon, it's cheap, so I ordered that as well. Setting it up is pretty easy. There's a hose in the back of the fixture in the back of the laser. You hook the hose up to that. You hook the other end of that hose up to your fan, and then you hook the out part of that fan to a tube that goes out of your building. So for me, it runs across the ceiling, out a window. It wasn't very difficult to set up. There. So done. Good luck, Mike. You can definitely do it, man. Go get a laser.
Yeah, those things are great. Those things are super cool, laser cutters.
Ted, have you ever used a laser cutter to cut or detail foam?
No, I have not. Let me phrase it. I've used them at work, and the cool thing about work at the shop is I just need something done. I run upstairs and ask the guys, here's what I need, and they do it with me on a laser. We do that. Oh, Ben, there you go. You asked me earlier about the thing we worked on. I worked on recently. Is that we did stuff for Fantastic Four, the new one, and they came to me, and my job was the foam cases. So there's a gag in the middle where they open the bags, and there's all this beautiful foam with cutouts with all the high-tech stuff sitting inside these bags. So that was like one of my jobs I last did before I left was to make this up for Fantastic Four. But yes, I have seen what the laser does with foam. It's super cool, definitely for pattern making. And if you have your pattern worked out, you could laser cut it out.
Definitely, yeah. That's something I'm going to do more and more of. Just tell the laser to do it. Or, for example, my brother needed these rings on his armor that he was making out of foam, and there were like a dozen of them. Circles, nothing complicated, but...
Yeah, but oh my god, that's a nightmare to cut in foam.
I know, if you need a dozen circles cut out, have the laser do it. Pretty handy. All right, here's one from Amber from the Cospod podcast. I was on that show a little while ago. She says she wants a brief outline on attaching armor to your body. Specifically, like with anime shows, sometimes people's armor will just magically adhere to their body through the magic of animation.
Yes.
Just curious about that sort of stuff.
I know exactly what to tell her to do. It's stuff called Pros-aide. It's Pros-aide. You can get this at makeup supply places. Basically, get online, check your makeup. Lots of makeup shops out there. Pros-aide is basically contact cement for skin. What you do is you apply it to both surfaces. You put a thin layer in your armor, and you put a thin layer in your skin, and you let it get dry, like semi-tacky, and once it goes on, it's on, and it's not coming off.
Yeah, you need a remover to get rid of it.
Right, you need alcohol, or isopropyl myristate, It's a makeup remover. If you trust me, if you're gonna do this, now you buy the stuff, be sure to follow up by getting the makeup remover with it, because it's made. This stuff was made for medical grade, for putting colostomy bags on people and stuff. So it's top notch. We use it in the industry, and it's strong. But you can definitely do it.
That's cool.
Super easy. Just a sponge, boom, let it dry, and it's on.
Perfect.
Way better than spirit gum.
And then it'll literally look like your armor is just floating or stuck to you. And if it's lightweight, like if you built your armor out of foam, then it should stay there, no problem. Did I show you? Actually, it's upstairs. I made a gun for this costume, for my Destiny costume, and in the gun I put a couple of big rare earth magnets, so I could just stick it to my belt. Because you know how in video games, like the guns always just magically adhere to the side of your character?
Yes. Yeah, all the video games are like that.
Yeah. Another check for the win in the foam prop category is that it's light enough that you can use magnets to stick it to your body.
Yes, it's true, because holding a gun around, there's always a tendency to fall out of the holster and stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. This one's from... this is insulation foam, but similar. Epic Studio wants to know, he's made a Halo 4 assault rifle out of insulation foam, so EPS, and he's looking for suggestions to seal it for paint. Let's see.
That'd be the same thing, almost like what you recommend for foam. Is I would do either Mod Podge or there's a gesso. Basically, what you want to do is get rid of all the pores of the foam. Is all you gotta do. So if you take like gesso or matte varnish, like acrylic varnish to it, and skin it and put like some gesso on it and stuff, and just lightly sand it, that'll really it'll make it look less like foam before painting.
Yeah. So. Yep. Anything that you're gonna do to just prep the surface for paint should help out. I will say though, my buddy Andrew Cook, DFT, if you look him up on Facebook. He does a lot of insulation foam prop builds, and
I think I've seen this guy. Yes, I think I've seen him.
He doesn't. I don't think he finishes them or seals them at all. Most of his disclaimer is most of his stuff is for display. Like he'll make something, it looks really nice, it goes up on the wall, or he'll use it for like a photograph. It doesn't get carried around a lot. It doesn't get thrown around a lot. But if you just need something that looks really good, and if you really want to build it fast, you could even just start painting right on the foam. Just make sure it's not any kind of spray paint that's going to eat the insulation foam, because some spray paints will do that. All right, thank you for your question, Epic Studio. We've got just another minute left. Let's grab one more question.
All right.
Here we go. Let's see. Yep. Let's go back over here. Okay. Terra Rising wants to know about using a hot knife for cutting foam. What safety measures should you keep in mind?
Definitely being well ventilated area. Wear a mask. I would do there's like 3M masks with the vapor cartridges, but it's just basically when you're cutting, you just have to lean over the. I just get moving air. Just have a fan going. Because the hot knife cutting is usually like the wood burners have one where you can attach a razor blade to it and it's hot. You just go and cut it. That's always good. Yeah,
I did all of the line work on my Destiny armor here was done with a hot knife with just a pointy bit on it. The circles were done with the Dremel, but these lines here, all of these were just by hand using that hot knife. And I think for a lot of when I was doing a lot of this, I just wore a respirator, so I wasn't breathing any of the molten EVA fumes.
Right, exactly. That would not be good for you.
Certainly not. And it's one of those things, when you smell it, you know right away, like, this can't be good for me. Cool. All right. Thank you for your question, and thank everybody for your questions. We got through as many as we could, but we are done. It's been an hour. Can you believe it already? It's been an hour.
Wow, it just fly.
Time really does fly. Once again, folks, if you want to go check out everything that Ted's got going on, head on over to eviltedsmith.com. Sign up for that newsletter so you can stay up to date. Ted promises he won't be sending you any enhancement pill emails or anything like that. Just go ahead and sign up.
No spam.
Yeah, and definitely, if you haven't had a chance, go check out the Evil Ted channel on YouTube and watch all of your awesome foam fabricating videos if you haven't already. Ted, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been really fun.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. It was fun, and I'd love to do it again.
Totally, man, and I'll have to come find you next time I'm in LA.
All right, fantastic.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.